Welcome to the SharkPreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
Do you want to become insanely successful? Do you want to be the go-to guru in your industry? Do you want to be talked about for all the right reasons? For over 40 years, Kevin Harrington has helped people just like you become significant influencers. Now he's broken the process down in the Key Person of Influence Roadmap, and it's yours for free. Just text KPI to him at 727-888-2100. Text KPI to 727-888-2100 right now and claim your free step-by-step guide. Text KPI to 727-888-2100 to get the recognition you deserve and experience the success as the go-to voice everyone listens to in your industry today.
Welcome to the SharkPreneur podcast. This is your co-host, Seth Greene. Today I've got the good fortune to be joined by Mark Worcester of nurseMARK.co, who's got a really fascinating story about a business you probably haven't heard of. Mark, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, Seth, thanks so much for having me on the show.
All right, our pleasure. So we're going to start in the present and work our way backwards. So you are in the Cannabis Nurse space. Tell everybody what the heck that means.
Okay, so the cannabis space itself, is this great new world in which cannabis is becoming legalized around the world. And in the United States, there are 11 states, including the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C., that have a legal recreational or adult use, as we like to call it. And there are 33 plus states that have a medical cannabis program. And so Cannabis Nurse helps people to utilize cannabis as a medicine, to utilize it to help them with things that they are challenged with. And so it's this great new space. It really is.
All right. So congratulations on being there.
Yeah,
so
thanks.
Let's narrow that down a little bit for those of us who might be cannabis ignorant,
Sure.
Who are watching or listening.
Mm-hmm.
How is that different? Why do I need that? Let's say I got a chronic health condition. Why do I need a cannabis nurse to help me? Why can't I just go steal some of my teenagers' pot and smoke that? Or just get a normal medical marijuana thing and smoke whatever I feel like?
Yeah, hey, listen, you can do that, and I'm sure people do that all the time. And one of the stats that was kind of eye-opening for me was that in states that do have a recreational or an adult use, two things. The demographic that were really coming forward were 40 and above in those states, but the medical programs saw a decline in people who were using it. So as people were going more towards this, I'm going to do it myself type thing. So why do you need someone to help coach you? Well, there are 550 different varieties of cannabis.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know.
I had no idea
until I get into the space. There are literally 550 different varieties, and each one of those varieties has a different chemovar, right? A different chemical composition. So there are cannabinoids, there are terpenes, there are all these different chemicals resident within the cannabis plant, and they all have different effects on the body. So really, it comes down to matching and what's going to work for a particular individual. So you can go in and you can try your kids' cannabis, and it may or may not work, and you will say, it doesn't work for me. That's not necessarily true. That particular variety didn't work for you. So you need somebody to help coach you with that. And the second thing is, Seth, it does interact with other medications. So if you're on other medications, there is a very high likelihood that cannabis is going to interact with that. Not in a potentially deadly way, but it's going to interact and it's going to affect that other medication that you're on. So you kind of need that professional assistance to navigate that safely.
Okay, so that makes total sense. Had no idea.
Mm.
And full legal disclaimers for our lawyers, we're not giving any medical advice or recommendations on the
Never,
show.
never. We're nurses. We have a very limited scope
Well,
of
you
practice
are a
that we
nurse, I am
focus on.
not.
Right. So we don't give medical advice either. That's for the physician community to give medical advice. We help folks navigate using it on their own.
Okay, so for
Yeah.
example, it's interesting that you bring up there's 550 different varieties and they all do different things, because
Yeah.
I have a relative who was prescribed medical marijuana, took
Mhm.
it and said, it doesn't work for me, it makes me more anxious.
Right.
And another one of a family member said, well, it's marijuana, it's supposed to make you relax, that's impossible. And then he smoked the same thing, said, oh my God, it made me anxious too. And
Yeah.
obviously it wasn't the marijuana itself, it was the interactions and the chemicals and
It
all the other
is.
stuff
Yeah.
that
And
had a complete opposite effect of what he was hoping for.
right. And it could be the percentage of content of THC, which can be very calming at a low level and can cause anxiety at a higher level. So there's a lot of little nuances that unless you're in the space and actually working with people with it, you wouldn't know.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so that makes total sense. So how did you get into this space?
Oh man, that is a great story. And you know what? I fell in love. I fell madly in love with a beautiful entrepreneur in Brooklyn, New York. And it just so happened that she had a CBD, a cannabidiol, one of the extracts, a cannabis extract. She had a CBD company that she'd been running for maybe 4 years. She's an early adopter. And I had just sold my last business and I wasn't doing anything and I'm with her. So what do? I dive into her business, right? So we worked together in her business and I had this, nursing degree that I hadn't done anything with really. I'd done a little bit of work, got it nights and weekends while I ran the last business. And so there I am, I'm in this new space. And I'll tell you, I was cannabis agnostic. I didn't use it. I didn't care if you used it, but it just wasn't of interest. The more I dove in working with her and the more I understood the physiology and really what's behind it and how it works, I was amazed. And that's how I entered the business. And
All
so,
right.
yeah, here I am.
Awesome. So you mentioned you had sold a previous business. What was that?
I had a tech consulting business that I founded in 1987, like before PC, right when PCs were first being launched. I mean, Bill Gates was just getting going. I get into the business right then. So I ran a tech company for 30 years and man, that is a business. I still love it today. It's great. But when you run a tech business, you have to get good at transformation because every year, every 2 years, you're in a new business, right? It's something new coming down the pike that you need to learn and become versed in to be able to help other people.
Very true. All right. So you've had a very fascinating journey. You've had some ups and downs along the way. What are some of the biggest lessons you've learned?
Biggest lessons I've learned. Holy cow. I think that in the entrepreneur space, this too shall pass. Like there were moments where I thought, oh, this is the end of, this is it.
Yep.
This is the end of the world. It's going to be the end of the business. You know what? You just put your head down and keep going and it passes and new things become available.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
This too shall pass.
Yeah.
Good. Excellent advice. What is your favorite part? What do you like best about what you're doing now? Because obviously tech to cannabis nurse is completely different industry.
Completely different.
Different business model.
Yeah. But here's the thing. It's really not that different because I'm in a new space that changes literally every week. There's a new study that comes out. There's a new take on a different cannabinoid, that's in the plant that does a certain thing within the body. So it's always this new iteration of having to reinvent how you work with a client because there's new information that's coming through. So it's always fast paced and changing. And that's what I love.
Awesome. So theoretically, there are other businesses like that also would lend themselves to your expertise. How did you get into the tech space at the ground floor?
It's like most other small businesses are founded. I was working for someone else. I figured out what the business was about, and I thought, well, hell, I can do this better than this guy's doing it. So I started, and I became a competitor. And in the 30 years that I was in the business, we spawned 4 or 5 companies from employees who came in, got experience, saw that they could do it, and felt they could do it, and took off and did it. So it was really like that.
All right. Now, what are the most common issues people are coming to within the cannabis space? What are their concerns? What are their pain points? How are they even finding you, given that this field didn't exist 2 years ago?
Yeah. It's interesting. So people are really coming, looking for relief from pain. Probably number one, they understand that, or they've heard that cannabis can help with pain. And in the in the healthcare community, that's what it's really known, being sort of an adjunct pain reliever. But there are other things like anxiety, inflammation, and things like that people are saying, hey, you know what, I heard that, especially with CBD. People are saying, oh, I heard that it's helpful for decreasing anxiety and stress. And so they'll have interest in really going down that road. And these days, who isn't suffering from stress and anxiety, right? It's just it's part and parcel of where we are in the world at this moment.
Absolutely. Now, why can't I go get advice from my medical professional? Is the problem that they had a hard enough time keeping up with just all the drugs, and they don't have time to track 550 different strains of cannabis?
Yeah, I know. Well, the issue is it's one of the legal status of cannabis at a federal level. So there's a hesitancy within the physician community and the provider community to kind of dabble with it, because they have a DEA card that could be in jeopardy if they are aligned with that. There's sort of still that I'm not really sure. Although at a state level, in the states that have medical programs, they're absolutely authorized and qualified to do it. There's still that unknown, right? We don't know what the feds are going to do, so people are kind of holding off. But that's changing slowly. The second thing is, it's not like pharmaceutical medication, right? It doesn't go through the same FDA channels. There's
no cannabis drug wholesaler taking them to lunch, telling them why
their
brand is better.
There you go. There's not that either. Yeah, right. So it's a different way of providing relief. It really is. And so it's not like you're going to say, okay, I'm going to give them 5 milligrams of amlodipine, and then their blood pressure is going to go down, and then we'll be good. Although even in the pharmaceutical route, when your provider prescribes you pharmaceuticals, they always want to follow up 2 weeks later, because they don't know if it's going to work or not work. They need your feedback, right? So it's not that much different if you think about it.
That makes total sense.
Mm-hmm.
How do you stay on top of it all? Is there a centralized database of every strain of marijuana with the chemical ingredients and stuff?
Oh my gosh, no. And so that's part of the issue, is that, we don't have a lot of the data that we need. It's coming. People are working on it. Again, due to the federal illegality right now of cannabis, not a lot of research can take place. It's difficult to get research funded, and frankly, research facilities are a lot of times federally funded, and they will not touch it, right? So a lot of the research is done outside of the country. Israel is 5 to 7 years ahead of everybody else. They've been doing research forever. All of the really solid research and discoveries have come out of Israel, frankly. And so there are companies there that are documenting this very rigidly. And so it's coming, but it's not there yet. So how do I stay up on it? I'm enrolled in a master's in medical cannabis science and therapeutics program at the University of Maryland School of Pharmacy. So, they're providing me an education on where to look for the latest information. And it's, it's ongoing.
And obviously the fact that there's a master's degree already at a accredited, reputable, nationally recognized school of pharmacy speaks volumes to the market.
Right. It's the
I mean, that was super. That was quick that they pulled that off.
Yeah. Actually, I think they were the first that came out with it. I'm the first in a group of 150 in the cohort that'll graduate next June with a master's in cannabis science and therapeutics. So yeah, the fourth oldest school of pharmacy in the country. I mean, it's a legit school. And, you know, to their credit, they scrambled and put this together, and it's been great. Like the content that they provide is a real good blend of healthcare and pharmaceuticals. So, you know, you're getting deep pathophysiology, which, man, I love that stuff. I'm a closet nerd. I soak it up. Can't get enough.
That is awesome. Well, we should all geek out on what we love. So that's great.
Oh, yeah.
So in addition to working directly with clients and helping them with their cannabis needs, you're also working on some other stuff, right?
Yeah, I'm always dipping into a few things. I mean, I like to leverage all of the experiences. So on the entrepreneurship side, you know, having run this business for 30 years and having been involved in a lot of other businesses at a board level, you know, there's a lot of experience there that I really, you know, there's value that I can provide other entrepreneurs in their journey. So I do coaching within that space as well and help them to do, you know, implement different operating systems, entrepreneurial operating system and different things like that. And really just kind of coach on the entrepreneurial mindset, right? So there's a lot of experiences that I had over time, again, that we talked about earlier. They're like, oh my God, what's the big lesson here? The business is going to fail or it's not, you know, so I can leverage that experience and help other entrepreneurs find success faster. Yeah. With less stress and anxiety, which I love.
That is absolutely, I think we would all love more success faster with less stress and anxiety. That's a great tagline. I love it.
It is.
All right. Fascinating interview, incredible business that you're building. For our folks who are interested in learning more, where's the best place for them to go to find you?
Really, the website, nurseMARK.co, nurseMARK.co. You can find me there. I'm all over social media.
And Mark is M-A-R-K, correct?
M-A-R-K with a K. Yep. Except for my grandmother, who always spelled it with a C. But God bless her. Whatever.
All right. Seth Greene, SharkPreneur, here with nurseMARK from nurseMARK.co. nurseMARK, thanks so much for joining us.
All right, Seth. Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks, everybody, for watching or listening, and we'll talk to you next time.
Do you need money to fund your idea, product, or service? Are you ready to take your business to the next level, but need capital to get it done? Kevin Harrington has heard more than 50,000 pitches and knows how to help you make the perfect pitch to get the funding for your entrepreneurial dream. He's distilled the process down in his perfect pitch cheat sheet, and it's yours for free. Just text PITCH to him right now at 727-888-2100. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 right now and claim your free perfect pitch cheat sheet. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 to start funding your dream today.
This show has been produced by Market Domination, LLC. To discover how you can have your own show completely done for you and turn it into a real published book and become the authority in your marketplace, go to www.marketdominationllc.com/podcast offer.